Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a fantasy comedy film, Being John Malkovich. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins with the beautiful gestures of a puppet in a fantastic melody. Behind the graceful moves of the marionette is a gifted unemployed puppeteer named Craig. He passionately pulls the strings of his instrument, imagining that he is in a famous variety show. The following day, Craig wakes up from the annoying chirping of their parrot. A little later, his wife, Lot, opens the morning with a lovely tongue massage. She then suggests that Craig look for a job for their challenging situation. In response, Craig only states that no one in the world is looking for a puppeteer, considering the economic climate. Lot then leaves for work and orders her husband to take care of their pets. As Craig reads a newspaper for a possible opportunity, he hears news about a famous person with a massive career in puppetry. He then feels reminded how the universe is not recognizing his exceptional talent. Keeping his passions inflamed, Craig continuously performs his unappreciated craft on the street. Shortly after, a random little girl gets mesmerized by the show. While Craig dramatically navigates the strings, the girl's father notices that the puppets showcase intimate erotic moves. Thus, Craig gets punched by the girl's father, leaving him with a bruise. As he goes home, he gets welcomed by his wife, hugging him after the unfortunate event on the street. Surprisingly, Craig's focus gets diverted into an essential matter. He now searches for job positions in the newspaper until he figures out the work that matches his skill. Without delay, Craig proceeds to the address to be a speed filer. Then he enters the building and figures out that the office is on the 7.5th floor. Confused, he rides the elevator where the floor resides between the 7th and 8th floors. Additionally, it has a shallow ceiling, causing people to bow and bend their bodies slightly. Not long after, Craig heads to the office, where a front desk secretary welcomes him. He then introduces his name and waits for his turn for the final interview. Moments later, the company CEO named Lester calls Craig's attention for an interview. After a calming conversation, Lester decides to hire Craig for his fast hands for clerical work. The following day, Craig attends the orientation, where he learns the background of the office with a low ceiling. He discovers that a captain once built the floor for a short lover, and the rest is history. During the orientation, Craig also meets a gorgeous woman named Maxine, who seems very cold. When the night gets darker, Craig and Lot prepare their dinner. With the loud noises of their chimp, parrot, and other pets, Craig gets irritated, causing him to shout. Lot calms him down by asking if having a baby is possible. However, Craig emphasizes that their financial situation is unsuitable for the human-making plan. Going to work, Craig finds the courage to speak to Maxine during their coffee break. He also encounters the weird personality of the secretary and finally talks to Lester again. During their conversation, Craig feels amazed after discovering that Lester is 105 years old. Moreover, Lester shares his manly desires toward the secretary and invites Craig for a man-to-man conversation after work. Meanwhile, Craig also takes his chance to get to know Maxine by asking her to dinner. After the tiring work, Craig attends Lester's invitation, wherein they talk about weird stuff only boys could relate to. Amidst the fascinating dialogue, Craig opts to leave as he will meet Maxine at night. The party night has come, and the surroundings get filled with joyful dances. Craig and Maxine both order drinks as they begin familiarizing each other. Suddenly, Craig admits his feelings that he super likes Maxine since day one. However, Maxine only disregards and completely ignores Craig's affection. As the party ends, Craig returns home and sees his wife calming their pet. They both share the happenings of the entire day before going to sleep. However, Craig decides to go to his office, where his puppet is located. There he persistently creates a puppet version of Maxine. Afterward, Craig wildly plays the strings of Maxine's and his own self-puppet versions. This way, he can imagine that he and Maxine are talking and having a smelly tongue massage. Driven by his desire, Craig admits his feelings again, but Maxine rejects and laughs at his hormone confession. While working, Craig accidentally drops one folder into a tight space, causing him to lift the cabinet. Upon successfully lifting the filing cabinet, he shockingly witnesses a hidden secret door at the back. Intrigued by the enigmatic revelation, Craig sneakily enters the secret door and crawls into the dark hole. A terrifying surprise arises when Craig gets pushed deeper to the spot, bringing him to frightening bewilderment. At this point, Craig gets routed into the point of view of an unknown man. Indeed, he enters the mind of the said man, allowing him to see the actions and the practices. When the man looks in the mirror, another petrifying truth emerges to him, as it is the famous actor, John Malkovich. Craig enjoyably glances at Malkovich's visions until the journey gets disrupted. Therefore, Craig realizes that the secret tunnel allows him to be inside Malkovich's body or consciousness. He also understands that the journey lasts only 15 minutes and will eject you into the land in another area after that. When Craig gets ejected, he confronts Maxine to share the supernatural experience of the tiny portal. As he begins sharing the bewildering event, Maxine does not believe his smelly bullshit and is uninterested in the story. Moments later, Craig takes a bath and receives a call. He then recognizes Maxine's voice, who seems to have an unethical plan about the portal. Maxine says they can sell tickets as business to enter the secret door, since it's about the celebrity. At night, Craig shares the news with his wife. Amazed by its rarity, Lot wants to try entering the portal, where Craig agrees. They go to the office and try entering the strange portal. Next, Lot enters the secret door and becomes sent to Malkovich's consciousness. During the journey, Lot feels excited as Malkovich takes a bath with his smelly sausage soaking wet. When the 15 minutes end, Lot gets ejected into the land. She expresses her appreciation and wants to take another round. Craig stops her as they need to go to dinner with Lester. While on their way, Lot rejoices that she prefers to be a man and wants to keep going on the tiny door. As they arrive at Lester's house, the three have dinner talking about life. Amidst the chit-chat, Lot excuses herself for bathroom reasons. She then follows Lester's direction of going upstairs. Confused, Lot enters the wrong room, a museum containing Malkovich's life pictures. They then go home, wondering how the portal exists. The following morning, Lot visits the building and sees Craig and Maxine discussing. She expresses to her husband that she wants to have a ride again to Malkovich's portal. Surprisingly, Lot even confesses that she is a transsexual and becomes addicted to being Malkovich. After the argument, Craig permits her to go to the hidden door. As this happens, Maxine wants to call the actual Malkovich for a mysterious reason. Meanwhile, Malkovich relaxes on his couch, reading some stories. Since Lot enters the door, she sees and hears things through Malkovich's lens. Suddenly, a phone rings which distracts the atmosphere. Malkovich answers the phone, believing that it is an admirer. Strangely, the lady on the phone happens to be Maxine, inviting Malkovich on a late-night date. Curious, Malkovich seems to agree and will go to the dinner. After the 15 minutes journey, Lot gets addicted to riding the portal and wants to go back later for the date. The night has come for the date, and Malkovich patiently waits on the location. Moments later, Maxine arrives and is happy to meet Malkovich. Being in the portal, Lot notices everything through Malkovich's lens. She becomes obsessed with feeling like a man and falls in love with Maxine too. With all the thrilling journeys, Lot wants to keep it a secret from her husband and says entering Malkovich's lens is boring. Through their discussion, Lot astonishingly suggests they should invite Maxine to their house for dinner sometime. The private business continues wherein Craig and Maxine sell tickets for $200, allowing the customer to experience being Malkovich. Their last customer for the night becomes fulfilled after seeing the famous actor's routine in the kitchen. As the night gets darker, Maxine attends dinner with the couple. The three happily discourse until an unexpected tension occurs. Craig and his wife begin providing tongue massage to Maxine. Shocked, Maxine affirms that Craig is unattractive and not her type. Before leaving, she added that she only likes Lot through the lens of Malkovich. Obsessed by the peculiarity, Lot calls and tells Maxine to set a date and invite Malkovich again. This way, they can fulfill their longingness for each other. On the other hand, Craig feels worried and lonely after discovering that he and his wife love Maxine. Fulfilling their wildest desires, Maxine comes over to Malkovich's house. Excited, Malkovich quickly serves a tongue massage. But Maxine declines as she believes Lot is not yet on the portal and so is not inside his body. When Lot enters the tiny door, Maxine proceeds to their erotic manifestation, embracing and giving Malkovich several tongue massages before they head to the muscle wrestling section. She even accidentally calls Malkovich Lot during their intimate fashion. Meanwhile, Lot achieves the ultimate satisfaction as if she became Malkovich while adoring Maxine for a moment. Time passes, and Lot goes home, where she sees her husband devastated. The following day, Craig heeds to his work unfulfilled and confronts Maxine for punishing him. After the confrontation, Craig briskly runs and plans to perform the aberration. He hides in their house and shockingly threatens his wife by pointing a gun. He then orders Lot to call Maxine for a date with Malkovich again. Afterward, Lot obeys and is imprisoned by Craig in their chips cage. In the meantime, Maxine fetches Malkovich from the theater rehearsal. Then the two celebrate their intimacy and wild urges. Maxine enjoyably showcases her workout skills. Little does she know that it's not Lot, but Craig in the portal. As this happens, Craig embraces each moment entering Malkovich's lens, where he gets to see Maxine's scenery. Interestingly, Craig manages to command Malkovich into touching Maxine and her big mountains. He also successfully controls Malkovich's tongue by being able to speak in the body. It's then revealed that Craig's ability in the puppetry allows him not only to enter the lens, but also to control the actions of Malkovich, and even the time for his stay. During their romantic tensions, Malkovich also realizes that someone is making him speak and act, so he leaves bothered and worried about the puzzling episode. Satisfied, Craig gets sent out to the land and victoriously shares the happenings with his helpless, imprisoned wife, Lot. With all the bewildering questions, Malkovich talks to his friend regarding the agony of being controlled by someone. He then concludes to make a plan to know the secret. Not long after, Malkovich hides his identity to follow Maxine's destination. Next, he arrives at the building, proceeds to the 7.5 floor, and sees several people falling in line. Unhesitatingly, he asks the last person and learns that the business offers being Malkovich for $200. Disappointed, he walks in front, leading to a commotion for cutting lines. When tensions arise, Craig stops them, only to see Malkovich. Thus, an opportunity emerges for Malkovich to face the anomaly. He enters the office, scolding Craig and Maxine for the unethical activity. He also investigates the surroundings to know how the aberration works. In response, Craig points out that it was just a simulation, but Malkovich insists on trying. Without delay, Malkovich sets foot into the secret door, only to see a peculiar scenery with his face at all individuals. After 15 minutes, he gets ejected into the land, where he meets other customers. As a result, Malkovich realizes it's not a simulation, but a portal to his mind. He rebukes Craig, emphasizing that they will meet in court. Subsequently, Lot remains in their chimp's cage while Craig prepares dinner. An argument arises until Lot begins begging for freedom for a shower. On the other hand, Craig somehow feels guilty, but still keeps doing the routine of pushing Lot to call Maxine for a date with Malkovich. For a moment, the chimp sees Lot filled with bandages. The chimp in the cage recalls his family being tied up, leading him to free Lot from the cage. Having the freedom, Lot quickly informs Maxine that it was her husband the whole time. Instead of showing empathy, Maxine seems more interested that Craig gets to control Malkovich. Before the call ends, Maxine decides to go with Malkovich, even though it's not Lot in the portal. Devastated, Lot reflects on her brokenness through the rain. Simultaneously, Maxine confidently proceeds to Malkovich's house. On the contrary, Malkovich pushes her away until Craig enters the portal. After several seconds, Craig fully controls Malkovich's body, letting Maxine enter the house for their erotic fantasy. No matter how the real Malkovich fights, Craig is able to consume his consciousness. As this transpires, Lot feels alone and visits the building's owner, Lester. As the dialogue gets deeper, Lot shares that she has an obsession with Malkovich and is aware of Malkovich's museum in the house. She strongly expresses that being John Malkovich is what she truly desires. A shocking truth floats when Lester admits that his current body is just a vessel, allowing him to become immortal. He also shares that Malkovich is his next vessel and is only waiting for a right journey on Malkovich's 44th birthday, when he can live inside freely and control Malkovich's body with no time limit. Moreover, if he fails to join the journey at that exact time, he will be diverted into a baby, the next generation of the vessel, whose brain is also connected to the portal. But in that case, he will be forever trapped inside the baby, unable to control its mind, but only able to observe the world through its eyes. Moments later, Lester introduces Lot to his friends, who are immortal too, and also waiting for the journey to take control of Malkovich's body as their next vessel at the right time. Then Lot wants to share and admit something about the forbidden usage of the portal. Concurrently, the romantic scene between Maxine and Craig in Malkovich's body continues. Satisfied, Craig performs a puppet show by acting and dancing in the entire house. Seconds later, they plan to make a living by taking all money, and Craig plans to occupy Malkovich's body indefinitely. The following day, Craig and Maxine consult Malkovich's personal agent. With his new body, Craig wants to end his acting career and replaces it with puppeteering by using Malkovich's body and popularity. The greatest chaos continues, and 8 months later, Craig finally achieves his dreams of dominating the world of puppeteering. Eventually, Maxine is now pregnant, preparing the room for her future baby. With all the lies, Lester and Lot witness a piece of news on television about a successful icon in puppetry. They notice how Craig lives his new life inside Malkovich's body and happily marries Maxine. Igniting his deepest passions, Craig expands his career by performing again in a prestigious display and showing excellent skills. As this happens, pregnant Maxine stays at home, relaxing and reflecting. Craig goes home, only to see no one in the house when the show is over. Several seconds later, the phone calls, claiming to be Lester, requesting a massive change on Malkovich's 44th birthday. It's revealed that Craig has to get out of Malkovich's body first, in order for the boss and his friends to take it over on Malkovich's 44th birthday. So Lester blackmails Craig to surrender Malkovich's body for Maxine's survival. Worried, Craig does not want to switch, because his old life has no wealth or career. Concurrently, Lot gets disappointed after Lester's call. She then sees pregnant Maxine and releases a gun to kill her. However, Maxine manages to stand up, run, and enter the secret door. So Lot hastily chases Maxine and fires the weapon confidently. As this occurs, Lester tries to stop them, since the baby is also their next vessel. The seeming turmoil resumes when Maxine and Lot proceed to the secret door. They both realize that they are in Malkovich's subconscious, where they get to see Malkovich's past experiences and painful trauma. Desperate, Maxine runs for her life, allowing her to see Malkovich's childhood memories and unforgettable experiences. On the other hand, Lot consistently chases to kill Maxine if their love is impossible. After a 15-minute journey to the subconscious, Maxine and Lot become ejected into the land. Out of nowhere, Maxine reveals that Lot is the father of the unborn baby because it happened when Lot was in Malkovich's mind. Mesmerized by the truth, Lot heartfully cries and contemplates that they are now parents and can live happily. Assuming Maxine is in danger, Craig goes to the bar for beers and wine. There he encounters trouble, leading him to call Lester and comply with the plan. In response, Lester patiently awaits on the phone until Craig successfully leaves Malkovich's body. Next, the real Malkovich feels himself again, but Lester and his friends enter the portal, owning the body for their continued immortality. The movie ends with Craig in his original body, where he sees Maxine and Lot leaving him in the middle of the rain. 7 years later, Maxine and Lot merrily enjoy their moments of togetherness with their daughter. Meanwhile, Craig goes into the portal too late after Malkovich's 44th birthday, causing him to be rejected from entering Malkovich's mind, but be diverted and trapped into the little daughter's consciousness, who happens to be the next vessel. It's then revealed that Craig will now watch the world through the daughter's eyes as a price for his selfishness. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.